Ride Along 2 is directed by Tim Story, the director of the first two Fantastic Four films, and also the first Ride Along. It stars Kevin Hart and Ice Cube. This movie is exactly what you think it is. It's exactly like the first Ride Along. If you've seen the first Ride Along, or really any buddy cop comedy, it's exactly what that is. It's generic. And here's what I realized watching this movie, is that it's not trying to be anything more than generic. It's not trying to be good. It's not trying to be inventive. It's just trying to be funny. That's the sole purpose of the film. So that being said, was it funny? Well, the acting in the movie was fine. It was some funny moments from Ice Cube, and you could definitely tell that Kevin Hart was throwing in some funny improv in there. Kevin Hart's just funny as a human being, so he was definitely really trying to make things funny. The supporting cast, Ken Jeong, he really had some pretty funny scenes just because I can guarantee he knows that improv pretty well and knows how to make a scene a little bit better. And Olivia Munn was pretty good too. There were some some nice little action set pieces, a cool car chase that was cool. The movie looks good. It's a good looking movie. The cinematography is nothing crazy, but it's a nice looking movie. Generic be all that. And the directing, I thought, was good for the most part, because he's directing these people how they are directed. Watching this movie, I realized that Kevin Hart and Ice Cube are both Kevin Hart and Ice Cube in every movie that they're in. Every single movie that those two are in, apart or together, they only play Ice Cube and Kevin Hart. Now here's the problem with this movie, is that this movie doesn't have a good script. The directing was fine, the acting was fine, the movie looked good, but the script is what brought it down, and that's what makes it not funny. This movie is not good, and it never could have been good. But it's not good because it's not funny, because that's the sole purpose and the only thing that it had to do. I never expected to really like this movie. Even the first Ride Along, I didn't love that movie. I didn't think it was a great movie, but I thought it was at least pretty funny. I had some good laughs, so I didn't think it was a terrible movie. And this movie I don't think is awful. I don't think it's the worst movie, but it's just so less funny that it's definitely dropped down quite a bit because it's just so unfunny. Things just don't make sense. Things just don't pay off the way that you think that they would. I think the director has set up some funny gag scene type things, and they just don't pay off. For instance, there's a whole scene where Kevin Hart fights a crocodile, and it reminded me a lot of Ace Ventura 2, or no, the first Ace Ventura, when he jumps into the shark tank and he fights the shark. That scene in Ace Ventura is so much funnier, and you can barely even see Jim Carrey fighting a shark. It's just the way that Jim Carrey acts, and the scene in general is so much funnier. And Kevin Hart has to do the same kind of thing with an alligator where you can actually see him. And the scene, it was still laughable, but it wasn't anywhere near as funny as that Ace Ventura one. And most of that is due because of the director, and his direction just wasn't strong enough to lead these actors, and get the most out of them. But the biggest part that I think where this movie fails is the script, and that's the biggest problem. I realized that Kevin Hart, with a good script, is super funny. Think about other movies. A lot of people didn't like that Will Ferrell movie he was in, Get Hard. I thought that movie was funny. It had a better script than this. The Wedding Ringer, he was a lot funnier in that movie. Let's think of Ice Cube. The same exact role, pretty much, in 21 and 22 Jump Street, and he's so much funnier in those movies. Not because he's a better actor in those movies or because anything, because he's still playing Ice Cube. He's playing the exact same character, but he has a better story and a better script in those movies, and also better director. So, because those things are holding him down with a weak script, they can't shine. They can't make it any better. They are only capable of being so good. And with a weak script like this one, it brought it down. And unfortunately, it made it a lot less funnier than I wanted it to be. And it ended up being a pretty bad movie in my book. I'm going to have to give Ride Along 2 a 1.5 out of 5. I never expected it to be good, but I didn't expect it to be this not good. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want more reviews like this from a guy like me, you can subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.